So now it sets up UConn and Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is kind of what Bieniek wanted, right? I would rather have. I mean, I don't really care. I guess it's cool to me that Purdue has a chance to get their first ever national championship. It's not cool to me that UConn is going to get their 6th and 20. I mean, I don't have anything. I don't despise you. I despise Danny Hurley a little bit, but what do you make of the overall matchup? Like, are you like? I'm talking not like. Are you happy that this is the championship game?
No, I hate both teams, to be honest, but I do like I like the Purdue story. I think both teams are even. I think they both got really good guards. They both have a giant in the middle. They both were able to add a piece in the portal that has really kept them together. Cam Spencer at UConn, Lance Jones at Purdue. They both play 7-8 guys. I think this is going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah, and what that line opened up at 6.
Yeah.
I
think people are disrespecting Purdue a little bit.
I'm actually
people hate Edey.
I'm way more excited for the national championship game than these two. Even coming into it, I was like, I just didn't think Alabama really had a chance. If anything, they actually impressed me a little bit. And then I thought NC State could, but after about 5 minutes, I was like, I don't think they can. So it was a little disappointing to me. The Final Four, that is. I am way more excited for this matchup. And I can't wait for this game, and I can't wait to break down the 6 is the spread. What's your first reaction when you hear 6? I know we gotta break everything down, but it was the look ahead was 5.5. It's now 6. I thought it might be 7 if UConn won. But your thoughts anyway on that?
I'm kind of scratching my head. I think Noah's in the same boat. I know he's the Purdue fan. Why did the line go up? What from tonight?
The reigning national champ, and they've covered every game, right?
But is Purdue against better teams.
It was set at 5.5 earlier in the week,
But normally I would say if you took out college basketball, whatever sport, the team that won the previous championship playing in the next game, I think would get more value after the game. You know what I mean?
It makes sense. I think it should be 4.5.
A lot of people in the chat are saying that it's fishy. I don't think it's fishy. I legit think that, the consensus feeling of probably a bookmaker is set this thing at 6. That's 2 possessions with 2 3-pointers, including maybe some fouls if you're talking about late game, if it's close, and then let the money move the line.
The money is going to be on UConn.
Well,
I would think
if that moves over 6, I think the Purdue would be the play.
I even think at 6, Purdue's the play, right?
I'm kind of laissez-faire in this thing. I'm riding a 12-1 on Purdue. I don't want to talk like I've been riding this team the entire season. UConn's going to be a legit foe. But no, I'm just saying, like, if UConn money moves this, I think 6 is the fair line. I really do. So
now I think what's great if Purdue wins this game is it puts so much pressure on Mike Woodson in Indiana.
Yeah.
I think that's always great to watch. Right. It's like when Auburn was winning some college football national championships, you knew like fucking Alabama was irate. You knew like Alabama's got to do something.
Yeah.
Right. So they go hire Nick Saban, and I love watching the interstate, rivalry aspect of this. I know it has nothing to do with this game, but if Purdue wins the championship, because Indiana hasn't been there in 20 fucking years.
100%.
So,
I'm surprised they didn't do anything this year. Like just 2 1-seed seasons in a row where Purdue's just borderline dominant in conference. You would think Indiana makes a move, and they sat on their hands and they kept Woodson. His seat I thought was hot this year. It's going to be unbelievably hot,
especially with Dusty May out there. You thought, and then the whole backstory of Painter, who wanted to play at Indiana. If folks didn't know that, like he wanted to play at Indiana, and Bobby Knight, he was good friends with Bobby Knight's son. it just didn't work out. But I mean, I never offered him it. He goes to Gene Katie in Purdue, and the rest is history. Fascinating. I mean, I guess as what is the thing that stands out to you? Hurley, if he wins the second straight national championship, where would you put this UConn team as far as teams that during our lifetime? I mean, UNLV never got that second one, but their domination reminds me of UNLV in a way.
Yeah.
Where would you put this?
Right at the top, because like Florida and Duke, when they repeated, they weren't dominant.
Yeah.
They weren't like this.
That's why I think UNLV is like the better comparison, but UNLV didn't win the championship.
I know.
The other thing with that Florida team, I don't know about Duke. That was pre Noah Bieniek. But
that
Florida
was
team,
the Leitner year. So they needed a miracle.
I'm saying I don't know much about the roster construction, but the Florida team was the exact same both years. UConn, I mean, 5 of their top 8 guys from last year are gone. So
Duke was the same with Hurley and Leitner and Hill and et cetera.
That's what I was saying. So I didn't know much about that.
Florida needed that Mike Miller buzzer beater. Like I said, like they got tested a little bit more than UConn just.
Yeah, for sure.
Every game by 15 points. I think it's the best run that I can recall.
I'm impressed by just the roster turnover and how well they've done.
I'm impressed with games like today, where like, do I think Alabama should have covered? But hey, UConn for some reason they just put it in cruise control and they get these games way out of fucking line in the second half.
3 minutes,
yeah.
People in the chat are asking for the cocktail number. It's UConn -7, the cocktail napkin number. So
was that a different year, Clark? I thought Florida won the national championship when they barely won.
No. Mike Miller wasn't on that team. It was Joakim Noah, Al Horford, Brewer.
They didn't. So that was not the year that they
Reed and Humphrey.
So they didn't get tested then. Why am I thinking? Why did I?
They were tested. Like they were in single digit games. They weren't in double digit games every game.
You're making me look this up right now.
I think Ohio State pushed him in the national title game. They got pushed by UCLA once. But it wasn't like this. Although a couple of these have been dressed up by you.
That nucleus,
like
I got it pulled up right now. That nucleus was the exact same for the Florida teams. And that second Florida run, they dismantled Jackson State in the 1-16 game. They won by 7 against Purdue, the second round. Then the third round, they won by 8 against Butler. Then they won by 8 against Oregon, 10 against UCLA in the Final Four, and they beat Ohio State by 9 in the championship game. But all those are probably pretty close if you count in some fouling late when teams are down 3-4. So winning by 8 or 9 in 5 straight games to win the national championship. Those are close ass games.
In the year before, they had a 4-point win against Georgetown, but they still kind of worked a lot of the teams they played. I still think
Duke got worked. Duke needed the Leitner shot against Pitino.
Yeah,
in Kentucky.
One of the greatest games. One of the greatest games I've ever seen, man.
Yeah.
6.5 now, guys. I'm seeing 6.5 on multiple places right now. Shop to your drop, customers. Is it going to get to 7, Mac?
I don't think so. Do you think I don't think it's going to get to 7. I think they'll get hammered if it gets to 7.
Bieniek, do you think it will get to 7?
I mean, my cocktail napkin has it at 7. It might. I have no idea what other people are out there thinking.
Are they not going to call fouls on UConn? Am I missing something? Are they just going to let them beat up?
I don't get.
No wonder they're not going to call fouls.
Is there a reason for the line movement? You said you had breaking news. Was it just because the line moved? Is that why you said that?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like that was it was a surprise to me that it happened that fucking fast, I guess. But
all across the board too. A lot of
I hear there's rumors on the internets.
Sorry.
A lot of books are still at or are at 6.5 now, where it was around 6 most of the places. Mac mentioned, are they not going to call fouls on UConn? Let's talk about it a little bit. I did some research because UConn fans are up in arms about what happened to them in the Final Four of the women's tournament with the foul called at the end of the game there. So they're ready to explode on any close call or non-call. The referee tandem for this game is going to be Jeffrey Anderson, Terry Oglesby, and Roger Ayers. Now, when you go on to KenPom, you can look at ref ratings, and he's got data on everything. So Jeffrey Anderson, who's the high knees guy, there's a great, I don't know what you want to call it, a parody count, just putting out whenever he does the high knees clips. It's great. He's rated as the number 1 ref in the country. Oglesby is number 3, and Ayers is number 6. Personally, I have known about Anderson because of that account, but also because he does a lot of Big Ten games. He's not labeled a Big Ten ref like you do get units in college football, Big Ten ref, Big 12 refs, ACC refs. These guys go all over the place, but he does kind of hit the Midwest hard. He had 7 games for Purdue this year. Purdue was 5-2 in those games, 2 of their losses this year. And they are what? 34-4. So Edey had been reffed terribly in the Wisconsin Big Ten tournament game. The reason why I kind of wanted to do this research is because he was on that crew. And Edey shot 19 free throws. He had 28 points in that game. Wisconsin was called for 28 fouls. Purdue only 17. The rest of the game logs are not nearly as bad as that. However, Edey doesn't really get coddled by Anderson, it looks like. 4 free throws against Illinois. That was the last week of the regular season. He had 13 free throws against Rutgers, 15 against Iowa, 3 against Illinois, 9 against Arizona in the non-conference. That was also in Indianapolis. And then there was a game where 3 big men from Northwestern, their game plan was just to hack Edey. He had 20 free throws in that game, finished with 35 points. Northwestern had 29 fouls. In that game, Purdue had 27. So, I mean, it's been reffed pretty fairly. I don't think we're going to be in store for an Edey foul fest here. Oglesby only reffed 3 Purdue games this year. Purdue went 3-0, blowouts in all of them. 14 free throws, 11 free throws, 8 free throws. Edey averaged 24.5 points in those games. Purdue's opponents were all called for fouls more than the Boilermakers. Roger Ayers reffed 107 games this regular season. Didn't have Purdue once. So Ayers UConn was 2-0 in Ayers' 2 games that he reffed them. 1-0 for Terry Oglesby. However, UConn was fouled 4 more times when they had Anderson against Gonzaga in the non-con. That was basically in Seattle. So road game there. They had Anderson as their ref. They won the game by double digits. However, they had 4 more fouls than Gonzaga. That's your ref report here. I don't think it makes a huge difference, but just wanted to lay it all out on the line.
There you go. Noah Bieniek blowing the whistle on the college basketball experience. I mean, BJ says Purdue's going to choke here. I'm just here to listen to it. I mean, that's the first thought when I think of.
Shit. Hobo from Purdue. I hate Purdue. It was the last time they ever won anything, anyways.
I mean, no. I mean, it's not a choke job, but I'm saying is like for whatever reason, it seems like in my life, watching Purdue in anything. Kind of just seems like they always fall just short, you know. Big game, about to, win the Big Ten championship. No, I'm rooting for them just because they haven't had a natty, and I want to see how Indiana responds to it. You know, I love watching that, but I'm certainly weary of that because I do think Painter. I mean, obviously he's done an unbelievable job. You lose in the national championship. It's not choking in a way, but it is like Purdue just in general has a thing about it in huge games. Now it's gotten this far. Can it win one more and change the way Purdue's perceived? Because that's a clip from a fucking movie I just played. Even Hollywood's writing about how Purdue can't write shit or win shit. Can they do that? I don't know. What do you think, Bieniek? You think they can win it outright?
I think there's a way that they could. It involves probably a cold night from a couple of UConn guards. We were all over that Stephon Castle game tonight, by the way.
Yeah.
Without him,
and Clingan did play great too.
Yeah, and so he's bandaged on the right hand. He got hurt in practice the day before this game. Yeah. I was a little bit worried about that after hearing that story at tip-off. But yeah, I mean, without Castle tonight, he had 21 points. That was like, I think, a season high for him. If you don't get that point out, but they might have lost this game against Alabama. I don't think Purdue's good enough defensively. They're going to need some missed shots.
Yeah. I want them to win. I can't wait to see if it climbs. Right now, I would still take the points. I think, but there is a clear coaching, like in game. I don't know that Painter has proven to me that he has fixed stuff in game, whereas Hurley.
I thought he coached circles around Keats today, though.
Well, I mean, fuck. You give me 20 drinks at the fucking bar, I could do that.
I'm just saying it was pretty evident for me.
Well, Hurley's like proven it to me. As much as I talk a ton of shit about Dan Hurley, like I think he's a great in-game coach at adjustments. I'm looking right now. You know, Purdue's the much faster team, 194th in pace. UConn is 305th.
I still think it's going to be a pretty slow game, though.
It's
like
going
both
to
those kind of right in the middle, but I think it's going to be a slower game. I was looking at the total; it's 146. I think that's a bit high. I don't think we're getting a 73-73 game.
Oh, I'll keep riding these unders at these fucking NFL stadiums. Yeah,
that's the best bet under.
Yeah.
I think so.
Both teams, Purdue's the better offensive rebounding team, but I mean, both teams, I think UConn's 54th in the nation. Both teams, check this out. Purdue's the second best team in the nation in passing the ball. UConn's third.
Incredible at moving the ball.
UConn's third, though. So it's great fucking matchup as far as that goes. UConn's much better, though, at protecting the ball than Purdue. Purdue's 133rd. UConn is 16th. UConn number 1 in offensive rating. Purdue 4th. But the big one here is UConn's number 10 in defensive rating. Purdue 85th. I know it's just defensive rating. Sometimes you can look too far into that shit, but just want to throw it out there. I mean, look, I'll take the points. Right now, I got to think about this. I'm not going to bet this. I'm going to wait and see where this line sits. I'm going to bet this probably tomorrow night. But I lean right now, Purdue. Mac, Purdue and under. That's my lean right now. What do you lean?
Definitely the under.
Bieniek
and the Purdue Boilermakers are going to cut down the nets on Monday night. They're going to win outright. And I'll tell you, here's how they're going to do it. Look at what Creighton did against UConn. They have the recipe. They got a big stiff like Kalkbrenner with Edey. Put him right in the middle. He doesn't have to guard Clingan on the perimeter. UConn's not a big ball screen team, which is what Edey struggles with. Edey can clog up all those cuts that UConn does, the curls, stagger screens, and then they're going to throw it inside, and they're going to get Clingan in foul trouble, just like every other team. I'm not going to fight it anymore. Edey's going to get a favorable whistle. Kansas did the same shit, to UConn. They put Dickinson.
Yeah, but that was in Lawrence.
Yes, but they beat them, and they sucked. They beat them because they put them in, they switched everything, and they funneled everything to Dickinson. Creighton did the same thing. And then I think Purdue will make shots. I think Braden Smith will bounce back. He got his nerve game out of the way.
Yeah.
He's been great all year. I have no reason to think that he won't bounce back. I think Purdue is going to shock the world and get their first national championship on Monday night. Let's go. But I love the under.
Brandon Cook says, coming from a guy who had the pussy pack and Bama covering. Well, we also did have the under in both games. All right. I mean, fuck. And Alabama should have covered. That was the right side. NC State, I'll give you. Pussy pack, bad play. Bieniek, what do you lean right now?
Like you, I have a lot of thinking to do over the next day and a half.
You got to think about.
You
watch every Purdue game. You know what they struggle against. You know what their strengths are against.
Yeah, I don't think their strength is. I think strength on strength, and I think UConn's a better team from what I've seen so far this year. I think the reason why I did a lot of the ref research is I think the battle is going to be won at the free throw line. UConn takes the 13th most free throws per field goal attempt. Purdue fouls the 4th least in the country. I don't know how the whistle's going to go in this game. That's what I think.
Well,
because at the end of the game, somebody's going to, if they're down by possession, they're going to foul and lose the cover. That's in my position, in my opinion. The 6, I don't think matters. Whoever wins is winning by 7 or 8, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But by the way, I keep seeing people say that UConn's going to go on 20. They're not going to go on 20-0 run against Purdue. They're going to throw the fucking ball to the big 7'5" big fuck, and he's going to get fouled to stop the run. They're not going to just keep shooting jump shots like Illinois. That's not or driving it at Clingan and just throwing the shit over the backboard. Purdue's not going to give up a 20-0 run.
And for what it's worth,
we're disrespecting Purdue a little bit at this point, in my opinion.
I'm not taking Purdue to win on the money line like you are. I think UConn can still win this game, but 7 points. These are the two best teams we've seen all year. Yeah, so I think 6.5, 7 points, gigantic fucking number considering that.
For what it's worth, a lot of people are going to look at this NC State game and see that Zach Edey had 5 turnovers. And if UConn does the same thing, this is what you're going to hear on other shows. If UConn does the same thing that NC State does and they double team Edey, he'll have trouble. Purdue adjusted in the second half. Basically, somebody called it out on the broadcast. I forget who it was, but every time that Edey put the ball on the floor, that was when the double team came. And that's when Edey would purposely put it on the floor and then kick it out right away over whoever was double teaming, and they would hit a 3. And Purdue was on fire from deep today. So they hit like 47% of their threes. I'm not nervous.
They have the whole Virginia angle too. It's like they have the, to me, like
the storyline you're talking about.
Well, just the eye of the tiger, man. You know what I mean? And Alfred, I would disagree so much, man. San Diego State was never like a top 10 team last year. What they maybe crept up to like number 10, but like Purdue all year has been sitting there. Like this is, I think that I don't like 2 years.
They never left the AP top 3. You know,
I don't think that's a fair comparison. And then Brandon Cook says,
Houston.
Brandon Cook says, "Did you cash a Bama ticket? Then that's not the right side. That's fucking stupid. All right, shut up. We've talked about this a million times. All right, get the fuck out of here then, because dude, you don't understand fucking." We were just talking about a UFL game. I could do a 30 minutes on that fucking thing right now, and how there's always a right side. There's always a right side. Shit. If NC State makes a 3, they cover. But was it the right side? No, it wasn't. Had they done that, it would not have been.
They were losing by 20 with 2 minutes to go.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I'll say this too. Like,
if you're banking on a miracle cover over and over again, good luck fucking winning this year or ever. I mean, that shit fucking, you only can get so many lucky backdoor covers. I mean, all you can do is handicap the game, be on the right side. Hopefully you don't get a bad beat. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad beat. It was a tough last 3 minutes where Bama just decided to
No, I love this one. You know what? You're the one that's stupid. You're the fucking one that's stupid.
Okay.
I will say, go ahead.
No, I'm saying UConn has done unbelievable all year, but they haven't, let's be honest, they haven't faced a team. Purdue, UConn, and Houston were on another level all college basketball season. We didn't see Houston. The injury took them out. Maybe they would have lost. Who fucking knows? So I do think it's ridiculous to compare. If you're comparing any of the other teams with Purdue right now, even though I didn't have Purdue this far, I think it's ridiculous because they have been in fuck you mode the whole year.
I mean, you look at KenPom too. Yeah, you look at KenPom.
3 best teams.
It's UConn, Purdue, Houston. That's 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
That's the 3 teams that it's been the entire year. I will say, because Mac has said, I haven't mentioned this part yet. He said that I watch Purdue a lot, which is true. I've probably watched them even more than Michigan this season. I had never seen Braden Smith struggle as much as he did today. I really think, like, I don't know what else it could be other than the bright lights syndrome. Like, he just shit his pants in the first half. UConn's gonna dial up pressure early. That's the nightmare for me. If he can't handle that, then we're shit out of luck.
The nightmare for me is in-game adjustments. That to me, like, is I can't help but think of Painter getting out coached so many games in the NCAA tournament. Now, it hasn't happened this year really, but
yeah, and he also shifted the ball carrier to get over half court today. Lance Jones carried it up for the final 10 minutes of the first half.
Which was hilarious. But
I gotta think Braden Smith's gonna bounce back. He's been a top 10 point guard in the country all year.
I know. I agree.
I gotta think that, okay, I know Tristan Newton's fucking good, but Braden Smith, he got the mulligan out of the way. I think he's gonna play well on Monday night.
That's my hope.
Yeah. This guy says you're trying to justify bad fucking picks. No, the bad pick was your mom out of that fucking dive bar. All right, get the fuck out of here, dude. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Look, I just gave away props. I gave away props that we hit. I hit on both unders.
Kentucky money line again.
For what it's worth, I had UConn. I said they would win it by 20 today. So if you're happy by me saying that, I think I was wrong in my read on the game. However, I still cashed that ticket. So,
the NC State one I'll even say, but don't try to say Bama shouldn't it? Like Bama, that even like one free throw or 2 free throws go a different way, it's a complete. And they were covering for a large chunk of that game. You cannot say the same with all those other games. San Diego State was down like 20, like 1 minute into second half. All right, all the other matchups too. I feel like they fucked up all of them. Alabama hung in later than almost every team. So, in my opinion, either way, nice win for you. You're a UConn fan. Enjoy it.
For those that tuned into the show for a pick in the national championship, I think your pick is the under. Like, that's what we're all giving out here on this show.
Yeah.
If you're going to leave the show with the one pick, it would be the under.
Yeah. I think the under is the safest play. Yeah. I think the under is the safest play right now.
I'm fucking nervous. Like
on the under?
No. On the game. I think UConn wins.
What are you, a fucking Purdue fan?
Well, I think UConn wins too, but 6.5 points is to me. Well, this is like a title fight. As long as so I think UConn can win. 72-70 or something. You know what I mean? Like it does, just 6.5 is a big number when you have these two teams that have been playing great all year.
Mm-hmm.
Final score. What do you think?
I mean, I just said 72-70, kind of talking out of my ass, but fuck it.
72-7. I'll go 60.
Yeah, it's probably going to be less scoring
69.
than that. Yeah.
Zach Edey thinking of that freaking room. He was going in with that chick in between the Elite Eight and Final Four. So 69 Purdue, UConn 66. Denial. Let's go. Boiler up. Ends the Big Ten streak for Noah Bieniek. Per
That'd
destiny.
be amazing.
Is that what we're
Per
calling
destiny.
this shit?
Per destiny and choo.
Fuck. I hate Purdue too, but I'm rooting for Purdue for sure.
Yeah. I mean, just for the sheer, like, every Indiana fan is going to be every alum at Indiana is going to be super fucking pissed off. And that's always fun to see.
Do you agree with Daniel in saying that this is the closest matchup college basketball national championship in the last 5 years?
What about UVA Texas Tech comes to mind?
Yeah.
That was overtime.
Shit. Kansas and North Carolina was
a
gem.
Yeah. They came all the way back. And then
Nova, North Carolina is not 5 years ago, but
that's probably 6 or 7, right? Yeah. I was in an airport in Dublin watching that.
Really?
Yeah.
Dublin.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cocktail Napkin has UConn 72-65.
So my 72 is accurate. It's just the 65
Sharp.
that's fucked.
Sharp.
Hey, there you go. All right.
He doesn't need no system.
Yeah,
no
I don't need no fucking
metrics.
cocktail
Yeah.
napkins. All
Yeah.
right, folks, we'll be back. We'll be back. I think we're gonna do a little episode Monday pregame, maybe even
Some
tomorrow night. We're gonna
Player
talk.
props, DFS.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So
more
let's go.
confident picks. Maybe a guest or two as well. Who knows?
Yeah, we're gonna figure it all out. All right. But until then, give Noah Bieniek a follow on Twitter at NoahB77_. Moneyline Max on Twitter at Moneyline_Mac. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. We appreciate each and every one tuning in, even the fucking guy who's saying, I'm picking bad picks. You're fucking stupid. All right. No, we're grateful. Come back. All right. Or not. I don't really give a shit. But look, subscribe to the College Basketball Experience. Also, college football experience, the college baseball experience, the FCS college football experience. Don't forget about the Ryan and Rush show and the Big 12 experience. Get on over there, check all of that stuff out. Check out the Bottom Line Bombs podcast and the Sports Gambling podcast, which will be live tomorrow talking college hoops. Until then, folks, this is the College Basketball Experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.